Right, it's Abs, and I'm back with a lovely Peter Fury. I jumped on you today when I seen you, didn't I? I have to apologise for that, but I do get excited to see you, to catch up with you. How are you?
I'm good, Abs. Yeah, thanks. You all right?
All the better for seeing you. I'm going to cut straight to the chase. Just seen some good sparring in there. We saw Solomon Dacres, that's obviously going up against David Adeleye in a couple of weeks. Sparring your young Huey. Talk to us about that, because he's really sharp, on form. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about the detail of it, but let us know what Huey's been up to, because he was supposed to fight the other week, weren't he?
Yeah, he was supposed to fight, but look, these things happen, you know. Opponents, for whatever reason, the fight never happened. So we had 2 or 3 opponents pull out, so it's one of them. So we move on to the next one. As you can see, he's back in the gym, he's sparring, so we're on with it.
How do you deal with that, Peter? Because obviously I know Huey wants to be active. We know that. He's on a GBM show, then he's straight onto a boxer show. He's supposed to be straight back to a GBM. And then you're getting this momentum going. And then all of a sudden, the opponents start pulling out.
It's just it's boxing. There's nothing we can't stress about what other people's going to do. We're not in control. What you're not in control of, just let it whisk by. So you're not in control, are you? So what can you say? What you are in control of, that's another matter. So I deal what we can control ourselves, not what other people's doing.
So saying that then, I mean, like you said, you haven't got a crystal ball and you can't control what other people do, but when are we going to see...
I haven't got a crystal ball, I just ain't brought it with me.
Yeah.
It's at home.
To be fair, you are very good with your predictions, so I'm going to ask, when are we going to see Huey out?
I cheat for fun. I got that ball and it tells me everything. You know? It's that gypsy status, isn't it? Psychic.
One of these days, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about like the travelling community, because I need a bit of education on that. I grew up, obviously, in Birmingham. I went to some primary schools in Ladywood, and we had a heavy Irish community. It was always the blacks and the Irish that were always together back in... I'm going back to the 80s now. So I grew up a lot with a lot of Irish people. Irish...
Yeah, the ones that societies don't want always get together. So you got gypsies, you got the black people back then, yeah. Pakistans, Asians, whatever. They was all good mates, wasn't they? Because the rejects of society. That's what we was all called back in the day. It's just how it is, isn't it? Yeah. It's how people perceive others. So, but they're all wrong, because we're all human, and we're all the same.
I do like your attitude towards that, which is always quite fair and frank. But I need your crystal ball again, Peter. When's Huey back out?
We're looking at it now, hopefully end of August.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're looking at that. I'm speaking to Mick Hennessy this evening, today, and see what we can do there. I'm speaking also to Izzy Asif, GBM, seeing what we can do there. So whatever one comes first, really, he's on.
And the fact that you've got that flexibility, so you can literally... Huey can fight, obviously, within reason, health reason-wise. That's what I'm talking about, time periods. He can fight where and when he likes, really.
Well, you know, it just depends. We're having a look now, because now he's had 2 fights back, yeah. And he's had a training camp for a fight that's not happened. So now we're on with the next one. So next one will be a proper step up in opposition as well.
Yeah. Speaking about Mick Hennessy, and I know you've obviously been doing some work with GBM. You was at their fight. That's when I last seen you. Saturday just gone. Seems like a lifetime ago. But talk to us about that, and thanks for having me on the front row with you as well. They couldn't wait to kick me off. You talk about society's rejects. I think I was one that night.
No. They're quite good there. It was a good show. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed the punditry, the commentaries and stuff. So it's nice to give an analysis of what I see, you know. So I did enjoy that, because a lot of people say, you know, yeah, it was a good fight, this, that and the other, but they don't explain what they need to do. And, you know, it's nice to give an insight, because what I want to do is have the boxers look back on what you said and think, hey, hang on a minute, you know, yeah, I'll have a look at that. He's got a point. I'll try it. You know, so if that makes that fighter better, I'm going to say so. It's not a negativity thing. I'm not condemning any fighter. I'd never do that anyway. You know, but when you can see good talent there, and you can just say, well, if they just did that little bit, they'd be a lot different. I'm going to say so. And that's what I enjoyed about the, excuse me, the punditry side of it.
How did that come about, Peter? Because when was the last time you've actually done a bit of punditry and analysis? And forgive my ignorance, I can hear the comments already now.
Well, I haven't, and I've never been asked, because obviously,
Why?
maybe, listen, I just say what I think and that's it, and I don't give a fuck really. So maybe I'm not good enough for these high-ranking shows or whatever.
Maybe too good, Peter.
I'm going to say stuff they don't want to hear, so I don't really want to be on them shows anyway. But basically, the thing is, no, I don't want to be on anybody's show if I can't speak. Do you know what I mean? They can go and shove that where they want to put it. But with Izzy, good friend of mine, you know, I'm able to speak. So yeah, I'm happy he invited me on. So I'm happy, and he's a good pal of mine. So I'm happy to speak. If I had to go somewhere and he said to me, "This is a script, Pete, do this, do that," I'd say, "Yeah, get the fuck. I'm not doing it. I'll speak what I'm going to say, and that's it. I've always been the same anyway. I'm not going to be. I ain't got a key in me back. Not at 56 years of age."
And we can always rely on you to be honest about things. And that is why I need your opinion on the fight that's coming up. September the 21st. My memory nearly lost it then. We've got Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois. I need your opinion. Heavyweight trainer, you know your stuff. What do you think about that fight?
You know, I've already given my opinion on this. I think I've got to say AJ for the experience. He's sharp as well. And, you know, and if it's the one who connects first, you know, in that fight. Dubois in with a good shout. You know, he can punch, you know, but let's see. He has his heavyweight boxing and styles make fights. Maybe AJ's going to find it awkward to land. And if that's the case, the other one's in with a good shout, Dubois. So I think it's a good fight. It's not a foregone conclusion. But I'd favour it to AJ to win it.
You know, when I look back on the Hrgovic fight that Daniel Dubois had with, obviously, Hrgovic quite comfortably was landing the 2 on his chin. Fair enough. I think later on in the fight, Dubois managed to roll under and come back with some overhand rights on the head of Hrgovic.
Let's not get excited with performances. It all depends who you're in with.
Okay.
You know, Hrgovic really lost to Zhang.
He did.
Let's be right about it.
Yeah.
You know, Hrgovic ain't AJ, is he? So that says AJ's a different specimen to Hrgovic altogether. You know, and but listen, not taking anything away from Dubois, Daniel. He's a good fighter, good heavyweight, and he's come on and he's coming on. Look, you know why he's coming on as well. Not only obviously I know Don Charles well. He's got a great trainer in him, but activity. He's having plenty of activity. And, you know, and he's been in with Usyk, he's been in with all these guys, so it's raised his confidence. So it's all these things that plays a part. So he's coming on. This is why it's not a foregone conclusion. But when you flip the coin, you know, none of these opponents are on Anthony Joshua's level, who he's boxed. So that's why I say experience is the key. So I pick him for that, for them reasons.
Do you think that Anthony Joshua gets a lot of... All right, then. Do you think he doesn't get the credit he should do as a heavyweight? Do you think that sometimes, like, the public, the fans, are a bit down on him more than they should be, or...?
I think, you know what? When you're in the limelight, yeah, and you're on... If you can't take criticism, and I'm not saying he can't, he comes over as a really nice fella, actually, but you're in this job to be criticised. The fighters are in this job to be criticised. If you can't take that, get out the kitchen, because you're going to get criticised. You can't have a brilliant performance. You try in the gym and you try your best. You can have an off night. You can be... there can be a numerous amount of things, you know. You can get in with a shit fighter, let's say, with hardly a good record, and look shit yourself. Because it's the different styles. Everybody's different. And you've got to adapt to them styles. You can only do the best you can, and a win is a win. So, yeah, he'll get criticised, but you've only got to look at who he's boxed and what he's achieved. Criticise what? There's no criticism, is there? He's been a great champion, financially secure in the bank. You know, life's perfect for him. He should be. Wake up every morning and kiss the floor, you know, because it's as good as that. Doesn't get any better for him. So, listening to negative comments is just that. The people who's commenting, they haven't done what he's done, have they? So who can really criticise, really? With all fighters at this level. Not just Anthony Joshua, with all fighters. Do you know what I mean? It's our job to pick things out. Of course we're going to pick things out. You know, it's like me, you know, I'm going to give an opinion on a fighter. But that's my opinion. It's not a derogatory opinion. It's not having a slant at somebody. It's just an opinion.
Psychologically for a fighter then, some fighters do take things to heart. Sometimes they do take it personally. Yeah, they're out in the public, but sometimes they do take offence. When you look at fighters, would you say like some of them are a little bit more mentally vulnerable, or that, you know, they're brilliant at their job, they're fantastic at what they do, but really there's sometimes they just need a hug after, I don't know, like this, not mentally weak, but don't really deal well with negative opinions?
Well, it's a hard sport, and this is why I go on. You know, we can always short phrase things and say experience. What does experience mean? It means all of what you're on about. You know, grow up. You're in the sport. It's a hard sport. Let negativity run off your back like water off a windshield. Yeah? Let everybody, what everybody's got to say, they're going to say. Listen, if I was a fly on the wall with everybody, I wouldn't get up in the morning. Yeah? But I'm not interested. That's their opinion. I know what I am inside. I know what heart beats in here. I know what soul I've got. I know where my intentions are. And I'm happy. I'm happy with myself. So that's it. I can look in the mirror every day. So I'm not really fussed. You know, so this is the attitude fighters has got to have. They've got to have that attitude. But it's a part of growing up in the ring. So to be a world level athlete, you'll go through all these stages. Negative thoughts, you know, lacking confidence, this, that, am I good enough? You know, they'll start analysing things, over-analysing stuff. But it's all part of growing up in the ring. Yeah, you can be a full set man, you can be 30 years of age, but where you haven't got that experience. Experience is gained over time, you know. This boxing, and I think for any sport, I can say, it's not a sprint. This is a tortoise on the hare. The tortoise always comes through. The hare doesn't. There's no quick wonders here. It's a career. It's 10, 20 years. You know, so that's where it is. We've run off track a bit. I'm just explaining what I think.
No, but it's interesting though, because it's all well and good. Myself, I'm a massive boxing fan. I sit at home, I may have an opinion, and there may be other people that have the same opinion as me, and then sometimes people can be a bit derogatory and insensitive, and there's saying what you think, and then there's being downright insultive.
Boxing is ultimately mental.
Okay.
It's like a journeyman. He's a journeyman because he wants to be a journeyman. Yeah? Can that journeyman become a well-level fighter? Yes, he can. But he hasn't got the mental capacity because he doesn't want to come out of that. So a journeyman's a journeyman, and any fighter can do it. If he believes he can do it, and he's had the right amount of training, and, you know, and we've seen many a time over the years it's been proven, you don't need natural gifts to be a world-level operator, because your work rate, your dedication, that willing to walk through brick walls to get where you're going, can outweigh talent. So we've seen it. So talent's brilliant. If they got talent and dedication, we've cracked it. But sometimes that hard work and dedication overtakes. So it's all about mental capacity. It's the strength of that human being. What makes a good fighter for me is a fighter that can come back from adversity. You've seen fighters where they've had losses, they've been cleaned out on the floor, they've come back to be phenomenal world champions. That is that mental fortitude, that mental resistance.
Not asking you to give statistics and percentages, but how many of our fighters do you think have that in them? When you look at the scope of the fighters that we've got, I'll narrow it down to the heavyweights. When you look at that, what scope of them have actually got that? I'm going to walk through brick walls and water off a duck's back because I know what I want to be. How many of the fighters do you see have that, Peter?
I think you know, in this boxing, on this level, I'm not going to say who hasn't, because
No, we won't do that today.
I'm not going to do that. But there is fighters that hasn't, of course there is.
Yeah.
And there's a small number who has got it, you know. But and that's not going off past performances or anything. You can just see, I can see, who's lacking in that department. So, and that's it. But there's quite a good few fighters that has that. Don't forget, they've got to have that. They're getting in the ring, aren't they?
Yes.
They're in a competitive fight, so, but there's having one level of getting in there and another level of stepping through them pain barriers and saying, no matter what, I'll accept whatever you've got. You'll have to kill me in there. Do you know what I mean? That, not many fighters have that. But there are some.
Shame you can't tell me who. But anyway, I've got to ask, Joshua Buatsi, Willie Hutchinson. We saw what the Hutch did to Craig Richards. Surprised for some. But how do you think he gets on with Joshua Buatsi, light heavyweights?
I think Joshua Buatsi's a good man. He's a good fighter. He's a good religious man. And he's a good fighter, good boxer. But, you know, I like Willie Hutchinson. And, I think Willie Hutchinson's power's underestimated. He can hit.
And he can move.
Yeah, and he's coming on. You know, so I thought he had a hell of a good win last time. And I wish both men all the best, but Willie Hutchinson's my man. So I'm edging towards Willie Hutchinson in a tough fight. Yeah, definitely. But if it went the other way, I wouldn't be surprised. At this level,
yeah,
you can't say he's going to win. You're fighting good people. Do you know what I mean? And at this level, you can only do your best. But I'm impressed with Willie Hutchinson. I think he's doing fabulous things. And he can box and he can hit. And he's got a nice loose style.
Tyler Denny goes in against Hamza Sheeraz. Tyler Denny, somebody that's grafted on the small hall. I've got a lot of time for Tyler. He's worked his way up. He's got that hunger. He's got that will. We saw what happened with Felix Cash, but your words. Talk to us a little bit about Tyler and obviously his impending fight with Hamza Sheeraz, the Queensbury star boy.
You know, it's the thing is with Tyler Denny, he's been in with good opposition all the way.
Yeah, true.
He's had to dig deep and fight his way through. He's been in the away corner, hasn't he? You know, he's been the away fighter and he's proving everybody wrong. You know, he's tough, he's dedicated, knows what he needs to do. He's got to grit it out. He's prepared to grit it out. He's coming, isn't he, for the full 12 rounds? So, or 10 rounds, wherever it may be. So I think it's a good fight. I think Hamza Sheeraz is a special talent. You know, he can hit. He's got sheer power with him, and he's very tall. But this is a good fight. If Tyler Denny can take that power, then it could be a different outing. So I'm going to go with a 50-50 because I like Tyler Denny, do you know what I mean? But he's up against it with Sheeraz because he's a fabulous talent, for sure. And Sheeraz seems to be getting better every fight he has. You know, so I highly rate him as well.
I like the backing that Hamza's always had from his promoter. I like that when you see the promoter actually baby the fighter and push them through. We can kind of see that Frank Warren's doing that with young Moses Itauma. I don't know if Hughie's had any rounds with him. Your thoughts on him? Because I'm going to move on to obviously Solomon's fighting David Adeleye, and I believe the winner of that Moses could possibly go in with.
Yeah, I think I've seen him. He's a good young fighter. Moses Itauma, he's aggressive. Yeah. He comes. And he's a good young fighter. I think he's had a lot of experience in the amateurs, hasn't he? But I'm not sure. But he seems a good fighter. Maybe, I don't know, he hasn't had a lot of fights, has he?
I think he's only been active for like just over 12 months. He's had a few. I need to get up box rate to see the number, but I'd say he's the most active heavyweight. So
far, he ticks all the boxes. He's a phenomenal young heavyweight, but time tells. You can't say they're going to be anything, because how many times have we seen it? This is a long road. It comes back to not the hair. It ain't a sprint. That's what you like when you're getting it sticky yourself, and we haven't seen that and you wouldn't expect to see it because he's a young fighter coming through, but he looks a phenomenal prospect. He could be definitely the next world champion, but who knows? There's a long road to go.
Speaking about this long road, who Huey was just sparring. Sorry, we've got Solomon Dacres who's going up against David Adeleye. I know you know David Adeleye of old. You've had him in your gym as well. I mean, talk to us about that fight and how you see that fight going.
It's a very good fight for both of them. I think Adelaye's been in. He's been in some good fights. Who was his last fight with?
Fabio Wardley.
Fabio, yeah. You give a good account of yourself there. So you'll grow from it. He's got an excellent trainer in Adam Booth as well. So let's see. And Solomon here, you know, he's very durable, super fit, and he can keep it going round after round. So I think he's a phenomenal young heavyweight, Solomon Dacres. I do. And we're personally up close with him as well. So, you know, he's deceiving as he's a lot better than he looks as well. On the TV, you can see things with all fighters, but he's a good young fighter and he's improving all the time. So that's going to be a good fight to see.
Who would you edge your bets with?
On past performances, you know, let's see. Solomon Dacres ticks more boxes, I think, over the mid-rounds, because this is not a sprint. You know, Adeleye can punch, but what's he like in there when the opponent's not going anywhere after 5 or 6 rounds? Because they're not called championship rounds for nothing. So in the past, young Adelaye's been found wanting in the second half of fights, yeah, but he's improving. These young heavyweights, this is what goes back to Itauma. You know, it's not where you are now, it's where you're going. So how much has he improved? Yeah, he's had setbacks, but setbacks can be good for a fighter because they bite down harder on the gum shield. So we could see a great Adeleye when he comes out. But in the past, he's been lacking in them mid rounds. Solomon is at his best when he's in mid rounds. So that's the difference. That's what I see from what I've seen of him and what I've seen of him. But it's going to be a good fight.
And finally, I just want to speak to you about young Francesca Hennessy. What an absolute credit to her father, to the Hennessy team. She is as well. I've met her a couple of times. I've never known a fighter to be so genuinely just happy to be there, positive attitude, absolutely lovely girl. And in her last fight, we really saw her start to come into herself. The improvements we're starting to see with young Fran.
Yeah, I've seen big improvements. I think her, Bradley Skeet, you know, are doing good things. And the improvements for everybody to see. But there's so much more to come from her as well. It's exciting to see because she can do a lot more. But again, it's experience. Different fights bring different things. But it's a fantastic story. She is a lovely, really lovely young girl. And, you know, so, and it shows. She wears her heart on her sleeve as well. She's listen, she ticks all the boxes. You know, she's had a very good bringing up.
You can
know,
see that.
Yeah, good family, good loving family around her, and it comes out in her. That love and affection comes out in her. You know, she's an innocent young girl. You know, brilliant for boxing, and I think I tip her for big things, and I'm excited to see young Fran do well. I'm over the moon actually. You know, I've known this girl from a baby, so that's a plus. So, and I'm really pleased for her dad, Mick, as well. And all the family. You know, it's great for Mick because Mick's done so much in boxing and not been rewarded for it. Yeah? So I just hope that his daughter can do very well and then that'll be the cherry on the cake. Because this man's achieved great things in boxing himself, but he's never had the recognition for what he's done. You know, so, you know, it ticks all the boxes for all these reasons. So I'm excited for young Fran.
Listen, Peter, we're going to roll it up because I think my clock's about to stop on here. Is there anything that you... Oh, you know what? Before I go, I've got to say on camera as well, a massive thanks for the conversation we had last time. Apologies for the sound issues, guys. It's hopefully... Well, it is sorted now. But the conversation that we had where you spoke about the cornering with obviously Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, I just wanted to say on camera a massive thank you. The conversation did really well. It's been covered by several news outlets. I know it's not something that you usually talk about, but I just wanted to say a heartfelt, just personal thank you.
So you're famous now?
Because of you.
You're a superstar.
Because of you.
It's not because of me. You ask the right questions. You're a good... what are you?
I don't know.
So what are you, a journalist?
I'm a fan with a mic and a camera. I'm nobody, Peter.
you know what it's about? It's about not giving the one. It's listen. I like to try and help the ones that's coming up who are just as good as the ones who's recognised, but they don't seem to get a shout, do they? So,
like you said about Mick Hennessy.
yeah, exactly. So, just because people's known or high up media channels, they're no better than anybody else. You ask just as good a questions as they do, if not better. So there you are. So start watching these channels from yourself.
Your check's in the post, Peter. Thank you very much for that paid promo.
How much?
We'll discuss that off camera. Yeah. Thank you.
No worries. You're welcome.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.